It's been a sensational 6 months at the High Court, in the biggest and most controversial inquest in British legal history. Lords, ladies, servants and spooks were all called to the witness box. There were dramatic arguments and accusations, tearful breakdowns and angry outbursts. Intimate, often painful details of private lives have been picked over on the world stage. The first sensation, these never-before-seen pictures of the princess's last hours. In the Paris Ritz with her new boyfriend, Dodi Fayed, the pair are relaxed and happy after a hectic day dodging photographers. Outside, paparazzi and public are waiting, so they plan to leave the hotel from the rear. Just after midnight, we see the princess leaning in to Dodi Fayed, their hands intertwined. They're waiting for their limo, being driven by Henri Paul. He was 3 times over the French drink drive limit. Did Prince Philip hate Diana enough to order her murder? It was a suggestion we heard again and again at the inquest. The Duke sent his private secretary to give evidence, with a handful of private letters he'd received from Diana and copies of those he'd written. Dating from the summer of 1992, when her marriage was on the rocks, the snippets suggest a real affection between father and daughter-in-law. In one, Diana calls him dearest Pa and thanks him for showing such an obvious willingness to help. He replies, "If invited, I will always do my utmost to help you and Charles to the best of my ability, but I'm quite ready to concede that I have no talents as a marriage counsellor." But the suggestion lingers. Are there other letters, lost or hidden, that harbour very different sentiments? Evidence from Diana's rock inevitably pulled a crowd. He was always one pace behind her, but Paul Burrell said he was at the centre of Diana's world and that much of what the butler saw would remain secret. But the coroner had other ideas, sending him on a 400-mile round trip to his Cheshire home overnight to collect documents. Mr. Burrell returned, but with nothing new. Painting himself as the eternal keeper of royal confidences nearly got him into trouble.
I told the truth as far as I could, but I didn't tell the whole truth.
Filmed undercover in a New York hotel room, these boasts led the coroner to ask Paul Burrell back to explain himself. He refused. In a statement, he said he'd been showing off on the tape and hadn't misled the court. Was this the work of spooks? British spies rarely appear in court, but 8 of them gave evidence in full view of the jury. They said they'd no interest in Diana and Dodi and no involvement in their deaths. Former head of MI6, Sir Richard Dearlove, made it clear there's no licence to kill. After 10 years, the man behind so many of the conspiracy allegations arrived at court calm and positive.
With God's help, I hope the truth will come out.
And left like this.
I'm not talking to you because you are bloody idiot.
Hours in the witness box saw him outline a conspiracy of dizzying proportions.
You work for MI6, you idiot.
At the centre was the royal family, against whom he vented a stream of vitriol. The royals were a family of Draculas, Camilla was a crocodile wife, and the Duke of Edinburgh's real name, Frankenstein. There's no doubt Mohammed Al-Fayed gave the inquest its most spectacular day. It felt like the turning point. In the telling of this epic tragedy, the characters have dwarfed the story. It's been as much about perceptions of people as it has facts about the case. But that aside, this whole performance had an earnest and important aim: to examine the untimely deaths of a man and a woman, and lay to rest a decade of suspicion surrounding how they died. Ursula Errington, Sky News.